want all my love and my devotion. Is we on? You want all my love right on the line. I have no doubt that I could love you forever. The only trouble is we really don't have the time. You've got one night only. Come on, big baby, come on. One night only, then we have to run, I think is the word. We got one night only in Miami, dog. You hear me? What's up? What up with it? What's good? Hi, everyone. Welcome to another night of a dissection live here Monday evening, 6 p.m. EST, because I'm out here in NYC getting it LIT. Just you and me. All right, that is enough. I obviously do not belong in the music industry. My God, that was terrible. I'm your host, JustLatasha. Welcome to another night of the dissection. Let's start this video off by hitting that subscribe button. Let's get y'all on the channel. Because what is we doing? If you're not joining this family, really, what are we doing? Okay, I'm here every Monday night on this channel. Start off by hitting the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you guys know when that new video is going on. Give it a thumbs up. Tell YouTube you love it, you like it, and you want some more. And join me every Thursday when I do a piece of script series, little bite-sized dissections. I might be talking about theme. I might be talking about the visuals. I might be talking about the dialogue on one particular scene. You don't know. I don't know. What I do know is that it's fire, dog. Like, it's fire. I'm not even gonna lie. I deserve so much more. Follow me on social media if you're not already as well. I am JustLatasha on Instagram, JustLatasha404 on Twitter. I think next week is the last week you're gonna be seeing me in this location. We switching it up. We getting it up out of here. Bow, 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 bow. So many things are gone. All right, everything, all things I read. Thank you guys for throwing some hearts up in the chat. I really appreciate it. If you're new here, please throw some hearts up in the chat. If you're OG, please throw some hearts up in the chat. I do see my patrons. My patrons here. A Barty always hitting us with the first comment. Thank you so much for being here. Khaled is a patron. What's up to Khaled? What's up, LB, my patron right there? And I do see some other dope people here. What's up? Kim C, so iconic. Tadeo, Nyla, what's up with you? Xylent, always in here showing support. Meek is Wisdom, always in here showing support. And what's up to you, Vibrant Hughes? Y'all names be so, I love y'all names. I love what y'all do with it. I love being surprised by it. Even if they weird as hell, I love seeing y'all names. It really brightens my day. So here's the thing. I know it gets a little tricky when we're doing like the movies that go from play to digital, because they do keep us locked into one location more or less. When movies are not like that, we have so many more visuals to use. So tonight we are going to be having large scale themed conversation about Black American experience in the US of A, especially in this time frame. So I want y'all to come in with your energies high, thinking caps on, intelligence brilliant, intelligence on brilliant, because we have such huge conversations tonight, and I'm really excited. I enjoyed this. How did you guys feel about One Night in Miami? We got one night only. One night only. Come on, big baby. Come on. How do we feel about One Night in Miami? I really enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. Malcolm X looked good in the past, the present, and the future. Stay fine. Malcolm X stays on fine, okay? Little red bone. Everybody said when they go back in time, the first person they're looking for is Malcolm X. He is tired. He's worn out from y'all asses. All right, dang. Also, happy MLK Day. What a movie to dissect on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It feels a little like betrayal, but you know what? Two kings. Don't put two bad bitches against each other. Mara Cherie said, I just had to do my share on Twitter. You know how I do. Mara does hold this channel and these videos down on Twitter. Thank you so much for sharing the content because that helps me tremendously. Khaled said this film gave Ma Rainey vibes. I don't know if that's good or bad, Khaled. A. Barty says, I thought this was going to be a civil rights hangover. We get a lot of this style of Black content. So I feel you. I understand. I feel you. But you enjoyed it. So Iconic enjoyed it. All right, y'all enjoyed it. I liked it too. And Sherry is looking forward to Regina directing more films. Yes, yes, yes. Elle, stop trying to play me. Don't play me. Yes, I did enjoy it. Well, I'm glad you guys liked it. I'm excited to discuss and talk about it. So let's dive in. One Night in Miami is a fictional account because I had to look that up. I was like, the girls was just chatting all night after one of the biggest wins? They were just chatting, and this is a fictional account of one of the incredible nights where icons Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, and Jim Brown gathered to discuss their roles in the civil rights movement and the cultural upheaval of the 60s, directed by no other than Oscar winner Regina King, the Blue God herself. Written screenplay by Kemp Powers, and it stars Kingsley Ben-Adir, who plays Malcolm X, Ellie Goree, plays Muhammad Ali, Aldis Hodge. Now, look, I quit on Yaya because there's a whole lot of you hoes after my man. I quit on Yaya, y'all can have him, right? Then I tried with Coleman Domingo because I like me an older man. He know how to handle a cocktail. I like the way he stirred the ice in there. He's sexy. May not be playing for this team. So we here. Okay? Married and all. So Aldis Hodge, please, Lord, let me believe in something. Fine. As Jim Brown and Leslie Odom Jr. as Sam Cooke. Was he really singing? He was really singing, wasn't he? Because that man could go. He could sing. He could sing. They was dragging Malcolm X in this movie. All right, so the setting and the context of all of this stuff were absolutely real, but the conversations that they had when they did come together was an entirely imagined conversation. So usually when we start these dissections, we start with an opening shot, but I want to do something a little different tonight. I want to start with the opening sequence, because in this style of film, we have 4 people to get to know. So we need to know who they are, what do they want, what's their flaw or the problem that they're going up against, and what makes them all come together. So we have to meet all of these men separately before they conjoin, so we see how their problems and their personalities mix and match. And here's what I found. They share one common problem. All of their problems are white supremacy. How do I know that? Each and every individual shot to take a portion of their life, they were surrounded by white lights. It's a problem for all of them across the board. 60s, United States of America for Black men, right? So I wanted to show that off the back to see collectively what these 4 men are up against when they engage each other. So let's dive in more specifically and let's see their individual problems. We have Cassius Clay, and I'm going to refer to him as that because this is before he officially changed his name as he joined the Nation of Islam. Cassius Clay had one of his iconic fights down to Wembley Stadium, 1963. What's his problem? He's cocky. He dancing, playing around. He's up against his opponent who he knows he's beating. He's clearing this guy out, knocking him teeth out left and right. But at the very last minute, he's starting to lose his technique. He ain't quite paying attention. And in his arrogance, he gets hit. Bow. His problem is his goddamn self. That ego. I'm not going to do the Beyonce run because I can't do it. I don't want to put y'all through that. We're just going to go ahead and move on to Sam Cooke, the man himself. Mara Cherie says, Leslie re-recorded all of the music and you hated it? That voice? Xylent Artist says, I'm so happy Leslie Odom is getting his respect for all of his talents. This man was phenomenal. Mara, is we gonna have to fight? Never, girl, I love you. I love you. But girl, hated it. Sam Cooke is phenomenal at what he does, but the club owner thinks he's interchangeable with some TV magician. His band is not allowed to come on a stage and play the music that he's ready to go ahead and perform. He got an audience full of white haters. These are all the problems that this man has to face, right? Just a day in the life. We're going to go ahead and meet Jim Brown, the NFL hero of the Cleveland Browns. His problem is that he's Black. He comes up to this white home, and upon meeting this young white woman, he's a threat off the bat, right? But until he lets her know who he is and what he does, now that he's shown his value in good old American entertainment and sports, now she want to be all excited and let him in and open the door and serve lemonade. Bitch, I will smack you in the teeth. Because we're not going to do an icon like that. We're definitely not going to do Aldis Hodge like that. I will go up for mine, okay? Every week I'm standing somebody else. How could you not? How could you not? And even though they stand Jim, they don't let niggas in the house. And to show this, the iconic director, as she is, Regina King, broke the 180 rule. What is the 180 rule? It's when the camera has to stay on the same side of your characters so you don't visually confuse the audience. If you're on this side, stay on this side. Right? Back and forth, back and forth. But she shot here and then she shot here because we're showing this full scale of the white power structure. Look right out but past these two men speaking, and you'll see that white-owned plantation. This mansion sitting up in the hot South on this plantation. We know how he got his wealth. We are very aware of how he got his wealth. We're showing power structures, right? Even though this lovely white man, he's very nice. And you can apply this white power structure to really any industry because it's capitalism. It's all capitalism. White people own it. They run it. They made the game, the board, the rules, the players, and everyone else must survive in it. Power structure. We love you. Still a nigga. What? What? Man, let's talk about capitalism real quick. Because there's a color that pops up in the beginning, this very first act of this film. We start to see our characters in green. Now, Sam and Jim is the money guys, all right? What would I have green mean in my dissection, in my breakdown, what I theorize? The money green, it's the capital. And in this context, when you have these two Black men, they're rich, they're famous. This is their means to survival. You have to ride this capitalism wave so you can be okay. These are stars who has had to make white America's game work for them so they can be okay. We see this with the white background. We see this with the white clothing. And we see they sitting on this money green, living okay. They're fine. Put a pin in that. We'll be right back. Let's go ahead and meet someone else. Let's get down to Mr. X, New York's Nation of Islam leader and the ambassador, the face, one of the biggest faces of the civil rights movement, and also a gentle, loving, caring family man. What's his problem? What does he have to go against in his everyday life? Number one, the leader in the Nation of Islam isn't holding a safe space that he promises to provide for his people. And now Malcolm X has to consider leaving the chapter, which you ain't even really allowed to do. Okay? So him and his wife, Betty Shabazz, discussed the plans to formally leave the Nation of Islam to start his own Muslim organization. What else is his problem? Very obviously his activist work, which gives him the highest stakes possible. Either this is going to work or I'ma die. That's the choice. That's the weight he is going up against. Either we do this or I die. Okay? And so some kind of medium, some kind of offering, some kind of exchange. In exchange for leaving the Nation of Islam, Malcolm X will integrate Muhammad Ali. Facts for me. That was a discovery for me. Simone Tim says Sam and Jim was trying to be where the money reside, where the money reside. Exactly. Exactly. Yes. I've seen your name before, but I'm having such trouble pronouncing it. Nendend. That's wrong. 2017 says, did anyone else feel like it was a little dialogue heavy? Very. Heavy, heavy. You got so heavy on me. Okay. Let's have a discussion, y'all. Let's put them thinking caps on right now. Let's put them thinking caps on. Sam dressed down to the pristine in white. Because in order to survive in music and be the man that he is, he must appease whiteness. And to be quite honest, he likes to do it. He likes this side of town, all right? Sitting on that money green. This is how he makes his money. This is his means to survival. And interesting fact about Sam, that he makes pop songs for this survival. He came from gospel. Now, Black people had a lot of feelings back in the day about those type of Black people that you sing in Black, and then when you get on, you switch to pop. Whitney Houston was very critiqued when she became a pop girl. They didn't like that, especially down in Jersey where she was from. They didn't like that. So I want to speak about another color. This yellow, this brown, this gold, and I'm gonna lump them all together, right? And when I see these characters standing next to these golden, yellow, browns, I believe that these very Black characters, this is where they can be truthful. This is where they can exist as they are without the performance to white supremacy, right? So we see the color of Sam's guitar. This is his identity, right? But it's also his tool to exist within the demands of white supremacy. This is who he is. This is how he came up. We see his girlfriend wearing white, but she's teetering and playing along in the game of white supremacy as well. And I'm going to get there in a second. She's playing along with the rules of the games of white supremacy as well. But she stands behind this golden divider between the two, this thing blocking this couple, right? They're obviously having an unspoken issue. And this may be the point where they divide. Because, baby, Sam, I love you, but I'm cool without all this. We can go back to the hood tonight. I don't need to be here. But it's really important for Sam to be here in this space. Look at where we at. Take a look around. She's like, I don't need this. Okay. My folk downstairs, my folk back to the left. We don't need to be here. So what's up? What is this? And in this first act, these are the only two characters that we see mirror reflections. What do mirrors usually mean in film when we're having a split of the truth, a split in identity? Somebody's faking the funk a little bit. There's a mask being worn, right? And we know in this conversation that they're playing nice, but she's trying to allude to the fact that you ain't really for me like you said you was for me. And what's up? We fronting a little bit. So here's my thing about Sam and the mirror that he sits in front of. Because he's definitely got a split identity. We're going to talk about Sam a lot tonight. There's a conversation to be had on how some Black people aspire to whiteness, to aspire to be next to whiteness, the proximity to whiteness. And here's a quote, a historical quote regarding the actual real Sam Cooke. To Cooke, it was not just sex, but a way of getting back at white culture. White women lusted after him just the way Black women did. And Sam says this to a close friend, and this is a direct quote. Look, I can't stay on their side of town. Why I gotta stay in this motel? Complaining that he had to be in a Black neighborhood to a friend of his. This is why he ain't playing you songs, baby. This is why he's not playing you songs, baby, because he got a taste for that cocaine. He got a taste for that white girl. I don't understand how they did interracial dating during this time from the violence of white people. I don't understand how they did it, but they did it. Okay, let's get into this girlfriend, right? Because She very much feels undesired by Sam by saying, you don't play songs for me as much as you used to. You don't play songs for me as much anymore. Can we be honest? I hope we're having a conversation about colorism, because let's be very clear and let's be very honest. This Black woman would thrive much more easily in white spaces than that of a dark-skinned Black woman 4C hair, right? She's light-skinned, her hair's pressed and straight and coiffed, she's skinny, she's pretty. She's okay here. They're both okay here. One, because he has extreme talent, which white people can make money off of, and her, because you appease to white standard European-centric ideas of beauty. So sis, I have a question. What happens when that privilege doesn't serve you like it's supposed to? And sorry if I hit some feelings in the chat. Sis, ma'am, girlfriend, what happens to you when that privilege you got doesn't serve you like it was supposed to? Because you understand that he likes white women. So as a light-skinned woman, you don't mind hanging out with Negroes as long as your privilege goes untouched. Why aren't you paying me attention? Why aren't we here? Why aren't we connecting? You're trying to allude to something. See, is the problem that y'all are not connecting, or is the problem that you're not getting y'all know what I'm saying? Sherry adds, he also cheated on his wife. And at this point in Sam's life, him and his wife didn't have a great relationship due to the death of their child almost a year earlier. Ooh, facts. I didn't know that. Tadeo says, I'm glad they only hinted at his addiction and not made it the entire whole of his character. The drinking, sitting up in that case. Uh-oh, y'all being quiet on that. Y'all being quiet on that colorism. Oh, there you go. I see it. All right, as long as we honest in this room, let's move on. Malcolm X teaching Cassius Clay a prayer. Jumping into the chat here, how do we feel about the colors, right? We have Malcolm dressed in white in front of this white panel, and I felt that white in this film is in a theme, a connection to the overaching white supremacy that infiltrates their lives. And as we can see, Cassius, he's not in front of the white. He ain't wearing the white. He's in yellow. He's in front of these curtains and this door. He's got more color blocking going on. What do we feel it's saying about these two guys right here? This was beautiful, Mika's wisdom. This is absolutely beautiful. How are we feeling about, where do we feel these two are in this whole system? Callis says, I love this prayer scene. I always love to see Islam peacefully represented. And that's very important to do. Very important to do. Mika's wisdom says, the sun set perfectly in the east. I love how Malcolm was even teaching. This was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. How do we feel? Y'all want me to go on? We have Malcolm X in white. In front of white, we have Cassius Clay. In front of a little more color. They separated these guys by color. Zylan said, I thought that it showed Malcolm was whole in his decision at this point, while Ali was straddling the fence, especially when he opened his eyes during the prayer. Very good point. Very good point. And we saw that displayed as this play went on. We saw that displayed as this play went on. I actually have that in my notes too. It was very much like Malcolm is fully here. Fully here. And like he almost looks enlightened, the way that the light is just choosing him. Like this enlightened coated in the grace of the heavens. I had that as well, but I just had a thought. If white would represent white supremacy, would that make Malcolm X in this very shot the target, the focus? Got to get him out of here. Cassius is cool. He's doing what we want him to do. Malcolm is agitating. Mara Sharice is yellow, new beginnings, but Ali wasn't all the way convinced. Malcolm with that bitter red in the print, the danger is lurking. Stephanie says, Malcolm's white background to me felt like the purity, the sacredness, and transmission to Ali. I agree. He feels chosen, but he also feels like the white supremacy target, marked. We're gonna keep it there. I'm gonna move on. We have Ramirez scene. Who's got a split in their truth? Who's not telling the truth? Who's got a split in their identity? Who's wearing a mask? And we learn that Malcolm has a secret that he's not quite cluing Cassius in on this Muslim journey together, right? And something really cool happens here when Cassius is going over how he antagonizes America. He likes being the enemy because getting that attention, at least in Cassius's mind, that's a win. It's all a win. But this directly conflicts with who and what Malcolm X is. Because for Malcolm to be getting that attention as America's antagonist, it's not a payday, it's a death threat. Hold that. Hold that. Let's get into the big fight. What's going to get us out of Act 1, push us into the new journey with these characters? All of the characters are finally coming together in the same room to share this journey, our inciting incident, the big fight on February 25th, 1964, where Cassius Clay famously dethroned Sonny Liston to claim heavyweight championship of the world in Miami, Florida, right? Which then thrusts him into fame, giving him the stage and the platform to successfully protest everything from racial segregation to the Vietnam War. Now, when we have this huge victory, we are covered in red. And yes, we usually see that in boxing matches anyway. It's a nice twofer, production-wise and theory-wise. But red usually means some kind of danger, as someone said in the chat. It usually means some kind of wound. It usually means some kind of omen, right? Stay away. So what would be the wound for Cassius Clay and the rest of the characters in such a victorious, pure moment? And I had to think, and I encourage you to incite your own theories as well. But here's what I theorize. As Black people in America, even in ultimate joy, they still have these huge monumental battles hanging over their heads at all times. It's exactly why this night in particular brings all four of our characters in together. Now, I said we was going to talk about Sam. Let's get into Act 2. Let's start raising some questions here. Let's get into the second act. We're going to put all our guys in the same room. Let's get into the room, okay? The sun is falling, the night sets in, and these Black men will use this space and time to unravel their truths, their issues, and their identity. We will be revealing character. So I'm jumping into the chat here. Sam Cooke arrives in his purple suit, derivative of red, and a red car. How do we feel about it? What is that? What do we think that says about Sam? This big red car and this red suit. Khaled says Sam was the first to arrive and the first to leave. Sam came into this new spot in this new room, covered in red. What happened? I see y'all talking. We're gonna talk about it, Mara. We're gonna get there. Sherry says Sam is the most wealthy of 4 men. Absolutely, by far. Come on, royalty check. Mara says he is a problem. Also, new money and flashy. A Barton said he doing too much. Okay. Xylan says that he is wearing his wounds. Xylan, come on, lean in, boo. Lean in. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. He's wearing his, what that mean? Let's do it. Khaled, he's an outsider in this black motel. Ooh. Mika's wisdom guesses he's a target. Here's the thing. Here's where I'm gonna go with it. Sam arriving in this derivative of red suit in this red car. His success is a wound. Put a pin in it, because we got time to spend with these guys. His success is a wound, and we are going to discover that as we move on. We have a really clever moment here when all 4 men look into the mirror, but we're only seeing the mirror, not the reflection, right? We're not seeing 8 guys, we're only seeing this 4, and we're currently looking at the reflection. There is no reflection, because right now they come in with their egos and their mask and their lies. And we're looking at this reflection because these are the guys we're going to leave this room with. We're going to leave with these guys telling the truth and dropping all these facades, right? Let's uncover. Sam was like, where the party at? That's what I want to know. I'm with you, Sam. You wouldn't have caught me dead in this hotel after one of the biggest nights and fights, and I'm rich and famous. You wouldn't have caught me in this hotel talking to y'all asses. I would have been outside. So I understand, Sam. But Sam, it's giving identity crisis. Here's how. He come in looking for this party, holding his white guitar case. Because when he's outside and he's Sam Cooke to them white folks, this guitar is what makes him valuable. Why would you bring a guitar inside to a hotel party? What was you gonna do? What if this was bumping with music and drinks and ladies? Why would you bring your guitar? He needs to be seen and validated. It can't just be y'all in here. I came here to be the guy America loves, right? In this damn suit. His self is his wound. He want to go to Fontainebleau. He loved that white hotel he at with his lady. He like all that stuff because he needs to constantly be validated by this white system that pays him very well. Accessing these white spaces through his white manager. Malcolm says, sit y'all asses down. Y'all not going nowhere. Okay. Y'all are not going nowhere. We have our first split. Malcolm and Cassius, our Muslim brothers, versus Jim and Sam, our money team. Get with the green, right? And Sam tells Malcolm that you can't just be outside demonizing white people. Let's real quick stop by respectability politics and what that means. The foundation of respectability politics, acting nice and appeasing whiteness, is fear. Because we all know as Black people, when we make white people uncomfortable or upset, that means trouble for us and us only in grave and dangerous ways. So how Black people learn to pick up their pants, speak right, get educated, put on a suit, we gonna march in our slack shoes, is because if white people approve of us, we'll be safe. That's essentially what all that mess means, okay? And he also tells Malcolm, you still performing, cameras ain't even here. I want to know more about that. I want to know more about that. He thinks Malcolm is faking, but let's move on. We have 2 shots here where the men split. Malcolm X goes outside. Mr. X goes outside to make a call to his family in his telephone booth. And the boys sit back and start drinking some of Sam's liquor. And usually when we start to see bars and stripes and columns in film, that means a character is feeling entrapped, feeling caged in, right? So jumping into the chat here, we see Jim Brown sneaking that liquor inside of a cage, and we see Malcolm X calling home from inside of the cage. So in the chat, jumping into the audience question, what do you think their cages are? I want to see what you think these cages are. Be like Naya TV says, dang, Latasha, I didn't even think about that guitar. Because why is he coming inside with it? What is you going to do? Oh, it's a party. Let me go get my... Sit your ass down, Sam. The hell? What do we think these men's cages are? Khaled say that, who said white folks ain't got no problem demonizing black folk. Run tell that. Run tell that there. So iconic. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Sam equals the majority of black male millionaires today who don't bite the messenger. We're going to get there. We're going over an hour tonight, so do with that information what you will. So we're guessing the cages for these men are the white gaze, fame. Laundry Day says Malcolm's cage was fear. Jim's was football and being held back from acting. Mara Cherie says Jim was expected to play openly black. Jim was expected to play openly black, but keep his mouth shut. Woo, Lakeisha Locke. Jim Brown's cage is football. He plays and gets paid well. Then that porch talk showed him just how whites really feel. Yes, yes. Y'all are saying it. I'm not answering it right now. We'll be back. I'm not answering it right now. Jim lets Cassius know that he's leaving NFL for movies, and he will be a Negro sacrificial lamb for $37,000. Now, let me tell you guys something. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I might do my dancey dance for $37,000. I'm not gonna lie. Today, I'll do that today. Imagine that, but the cost of living back then in the 60s. All y'all gonna do is shoot me for fake this time? I'll take it. Okay. But his come up is being killed halfway through a movie. As great as he is, he's an NFL hero. So as we see Jim Brown explaining this to Cassius, we see a reflection. We see a split of identity. We're having a little crack. Having a little self-crack here. Just for something for you guys to think about. Is this a come up or is this a betrayal to himself? Hold that. Go off in the chat if you like. Just hold on to that. But I want to go here. Answer real quick. Malcolm's life is a cage, right? Essentially, what we start to learn from this film and what Malcolm X is doing here is that he's preparing for his imminent death, right? He writes his family a love letter, which feels a little like a goodbye letter. And as you see, when he's talking in this telephone booth to his family, all these little white lights are streaming and strobing behind him, like he's being watched by that supremacy, always under an eye. And of course, he turns to find he's being watched by white men. He's being watched. Is this a telephone booth or a coffin? How do they know where I'm always at? They know where I'm going to be before I do. Is this a telephone booth or a coffin? Hold on to that. We're going to go ahead and move on. Let's get to the roof. Let's get some air. It's hot. It's hot in here. Let's get some air. Here we go. And the first thing we see when we get up on this roof is the white light. Baby, no matter where you go, you will not escape white supremacy. It's not going to happen. Watching, overseeing all the time. And Malcolm informs his squad about the fact that he's starting his autobiography because he's being haunted by death. I have this feeling it's coming. And as he's saying this, we see them fireworks going off right behind his head. Haunting. Man, Brother X, you just paranoid. You think them white boys following you? It's not even that serious. It's not even that serious. It's not even that serious. Is this the entire reason for tonight? So Malcolm can curate an evening where he's being present, savoring this moment, having these moments with his friends, walking around with his camera, documenting his life firsthand. He's preparing for this death, right? And what I find really interesting about the way this movie is going so far is that usually in films, you have this character having to fix these concrete problems. If I don't go out and do this action, then this problem I have will not be solved. And essentially here, there are no like goals in this story, but think about what keeps us engaged. It's what we're going to be doing tonight, right? There are these huge emotional asks of each other, these emotional reveals to each other rather than concrete problem solving, right? What we're going to be doing tonight, as they're doing in this movie, is exchanging Black theories, what we collectively understand, communally understand through our Black lived experience. So let's do this. I didn't think Malcolm X would get bullied by his friends on MLK weekend, but here we are. I want to have a question about Sam. Oh, Tadeo did some inflation adjustments. Let's look at it. Adjusted for inflation, $37,000 in 1964 is equal to $307,000, 703 and 50 cents in 2020. The annual inflation over this period was 3.85%. Tadeo Asojano. Wow. I told y'all it was brilliant. I knew it. I synced it. I knew y'all was brilliant. Wow. Let's talk about Sam. Audience, is Sam a bad guy? Let's really think about this. Is Sam a bad guy? Should he have to live in squalor because he's Black? Is that's what's being asked and demanded of him? Because he says life is nicer in California as long as you have money. And yes, Copacabana sucks. It's shitty, but I get to play it. He feels it's a come up. So if you are talented and you make it and the system serves you, and you know how bad it could be, but you're just choosing, I don't want to live like that. I want to be okay. Is Sam a bad guy? DJ says, if you're asking, the answer is yes. Mara Cherie says, I don't like Sam, but I understand him, and I know that guy. Khaled says, I don't think he's bad. LB says, no. Be Like Naya says, I think Sam bought into the I'm rich and I sing, so I am safe with white people. And we know that's an illusion. Lakeisha agrees. Sam isn't a bad guy. Sherry says, look, LA wasn't great for Black people during that time. Like, imagine we're asking Beyonce, like, give it up. Don't live in your safe mansion on the hill. You should be in South Side of Chicago where your people are, because this is the fight. Like, just come back. Who do you think you are living up there? You and your 3 kids need to come down to Detroit and down to Flint and just get you a house, because you selling out. What's up? LB says, no, it's not bad to like nice things, but he lost me with the white girls. Laundry Day. Sam reminds me of these Black men who get rich and then say there is no racism. Xylan says, no, I just believe that he let his obsession of wealth cloud his awareness of himself and the world. So Malcolm has a question for him. What are you using your platform for? Beyonce said, look, if I'm going to live in my house on a mansion and get these billions with my husband, the least I could do is make songs for y'all. Queen. I'm going back to the South. I'm going back. And we said, thank you, Queen. We ate. And I sure did. Malcolm asked Sam, what are you using your platform for? What's the purpose of entertaining people who hate you, right? There is no more time as a Black person to be idle in this crisis. And Sam has an answer for that ass. Look, having money and having the system serve you is the win. Why would I struggle and hurt myself? Why would I hurt myself? I want nice things. I want to be okay. I want to be safe. And how could I help people if I wanted to, if and when I can't help myself? Then what good would I be? So I have a question, and we're going to put a pin in it. Maybe Sam got a point. If Sam is broke and Malcolm is dead, how would that benefit the people you're trying to serve? Hold that. Hold on to that. We'll be back. Wounds are starting to be exposed, right? Because the truth of the matter is this once again. They're all threatened by white supremacy, no matter how great they are, how loved they are, or how hated. Malcolm questions all of them on how they each can serve their people. But he accuses Sam of saying, you don't do that at all, right? And that's what y'all said in the chat. I think it was so iconic. This is very much a critique on rich Black folk, because once you get rich, all you give people are your broken promises of how you gone help, or sell us a you could do it too pipe dream, sitting in a circle in a green lawn with your suits on, drinking champagne, talking about good millionaire days. And this is supposed to be the dream for your people. Or you drop an album giving financial literacy tips, telling us how to sell a Basquiat. We can't afford a Basquiat. So now I don't know what to do with the information. Or maybe you got to have advanced money in order to start understanding the advice. What are you physically doing by you being rich? How does that help your people that you promise your richness would help? Especially those like Sam, who used a Black vehicle to get on, and then once they got there, abandoned their people to align with whiteness. Lil Wayne. Ooh. 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 Sam says he doesn't want a piece of the pie. He wants the recipe. Audience question. I see y'all calling celebrities out in this chat. I see y'all calling celebrities out in this chat. Audience question. Is it possible if you play and win Monopoly, are you free from the game? Throw your pieces and you're free, you good. Is that possible? To have the recipe. Y'all trying to get a piece of the pie? I want the recipe. What's up? Mo Me says this is absolutely a strong critique on the Black elite, because Malcolm X wasn't having it. And he left that behind in his work. He wasn't having it. We saw that last year. The uprisings, people talking about don't hurt the Gucci store. Embarrassing. Oh my God. LB says, sounds like the people out here selling books on how to make money when they made money by selling the books. I got a workbook to sell you on how to get rich. Thank you for making me rich by buying my workbook. Alice says, as long as you pay taxes, you ain't free from the game. So Iconic says, never. Capitalism is an ongoing game that never ends. And Sam fights back. He's getting up off the ropes, back sparring mentally with Malcolm and saying, yo, you pump faking. So how you and your ilk going to address racism, but have a blind eye on the crimes that Black people commit? Because here's why. The Nation of Islam is getting a little funky with some sexual assault and a tad bit of pedophilia up in that place y'all at. You got Black people in your city selling drugs, doing financial scams, and some of your members are involved with that. Let's check that. What Phaedra say now? Check that. the real husbands of the civil rights. I would like to see this show. They are dragging each other. Look, you couldn't convince me nothing. Malcolm X is a Taurus. And I knew he was an earth sign because number one thing earth signs are going to do, we're going to drag you. But honest to God, it's because we love you so bad. Like we see the vision, but you don't see the vision for you. So now I got to hurt your feelings. So you understand that I'm trying to get you somewhere. It ain't right, but it be working sometimes. Okay. And Malcolm X is stubborn as hell. He really got his boys trapped in his hotel room because this is the night he planned and it's going to happen. Like you have to understand an earth sign when we have a plan, it's going to happen. We're the main character. I'm sorry. Okay, stubborn as hell, not moving off his hill. All right. But Sam learns a lesson here. Even though he's saying, I'm making this money so I can get on, ain't no money in the struggle. And Malcolm X plays him a Bob Dylan record where Bob Dylan, a white boy from Minnesota, is going off about how hard it is for a man like him. And he made bank. So what's the truth? Y'all said in the chat, capitalism is an ongoing game you'll never escape from. Sam will never have the recipe. And that's tea. That's tea. Myra Cherie says, Malcolm set out to make them activists that night. Okay. What's up, Beck? Shout out to Rebecca Francois. She is the episodic director of one of the episodes of my series, JustLatasha's Interactions. So excited. She is brilliant. Love working with her. She totally understands my mind. And Rebecca says, stubborn as hell, earth sign, shaking my head hard when I watch this in real time. Get to know us. Get to know us. So the men split because they all mad. We're mad now, okay? Malcolm says every Black person needs to be a weapon, but Jim Brown disagrees. Absolutely not. Is it okay for Black people to not fight? Can we afford to not be fighting? And here's just my take. Please make your own. You as a Black person in this country must decide for yourself what the fight is. Sometimes it's rest, because how good could you be if you're not okay? Sometimes the resistance and the fight is rest, comedy, joy. Others are down to do that violent work and be outside and be up in faces and laboring and lobbying and changing laws and doxing supremacists. Some people are up for game, but some people just I gotta be here. And here's the gag: existing as you are is also the fight. Let's look at our other guys here. We have Cassius and Sam together. And Cassius says something that I really like. Black people want power. And what is that? A world where we're safe to be ourselves. Don't have to prove nothing to nobody. Don't got to say nothing. Don't got to perform for nobody. Power is a world where we're safe to be ourselves. And he even goes further and says, I'm not doing this for no activism, because activists, truth be told, quiet as his cat, ain't doing that for Black people either. My jaw dropped. I don't know where y'all was at when this line was said, but it dropped and cracked me clean off. Okay? It cracked me clean off. We've heard the phrases, money is power, knowledge is power. But here in this message, we learn that freedom to exist as you are is power. And this is something that Sam believes he has. That's why he's fighting so hard. Like, I'm here. What is y'all problem? Sam believes he has this, but as Malcolm X has been showing him, no, you're not fully existing. You can't be. because you're still walking around hiding yourself, not telling your side of your black ass story. You're still performing for these people who hate you. If you have to hide yourself or your truth at any point, you don't have freedom. And if you don't have freedom, you do not have power, even when your hotel room is one door down from the people you're trying to be like. Oh, I thought a nigga with a guitar said something. Oh. Laundry Day says, yes, that was deep. Sam Cooke was the best voice in selling his soul for that evil dollar. Bob Dylan is talk singing and being revolutionary. Bob Dylan had it better in his whiteness. Zylan says, exactly, Mara. I was like, y'all killing me with these white girls. They don't care about you like that. You ain't got it, Sam. Here's the most moving part for me. And I'm going to tell y'all like this. Here is the most moving part for me. Let's talk about power. Because, you know, niggas don't say sorry. They got to go into a whole other spiel. So here we are in a whole other spiel so they can make up. Malcolm X recants a time when Sam was sabotaged during a show. And we have a flashback here where Sam is wearing this money green suit during this show because he's only focused on one thing, getting that money and being a star. His only focus. And when he's sabotaged and left alone on stage, abandoned, he pulled something incredible from himself. And I don't even know if he realized it. When he focused on himself and his gift, using his pure existence and God-given talent, he was able to shift his people. He moved the room. And this is what all this fighting is essentially about. There's a power in you you don't know lives in you. It's dormant. Because you got your sights on other things. The power is you. I'm just trying to wake you up to who you are because you're missing it. Earth Sign will yell you down because you're going to be better by the time you leave me. And I'm going to tell you that. One thing's for certain and two things for sure. By the time you leave the presence of an Earth Sign, you will leave better than whence you came. I don't mean to brag. I don't mean to brag. So let's get into our final act. Let's solve all problems. Let's start solving problems. We have victory here. Let's finally go out and celebrate, right? And I noticed something here that this victory scene looks exactly like that first fight. Down here in this diner where everybody is so excited to hang out and meet the stars of their dreams. And these men are still in the ring. You have not escaped that fight. And though they adopt new ideas, solve problems, take on new journeys, you will always be under white supremacy. That wound is still here. It's a wound here. Me too. Mara Cherie says, I love the actor that played Jackie, by the way. He's dope. He absolutely is incredible. There's still a wound here. Let's discover. Malcolm's been exposed. Baby, the call was coming from inside the house. Malcolm has been exposed by one of his very own brothers who's supposed to be looking after him, protecting him, serving his best interests, his safety, sold him out to those two white men who he knew were a problem for him. There's that wound. So the gag is, we spent all day dragging Sam. But was Sam right? You so hyper focused on white people that you turn a blind eye to the dirt up under your own house. This happened from your house, Malcolm. Embarrassing. I am embarrassed. Was Sam right? One thing about our sound, we don't like to admit when we're wrong. He kept that to himself, didn't he? Malcolm, he ain't making an alarm. He ain't one of his boys. He ain't say, I got to cover me. I got to go. He said, everything's okay. Woo! Was he right? So let's shift. Sam gets a change of heart and a change of background, right? How we first met him in that white linen suit and that brown guitar. See, now his guitar and his performing and his value to white people no longer makes him. Sam Cooke arrives as is. He makes him. He shifted his entire environment because I am here as a Black man and I'm here to sing my story. You go from that white background to that brown background because now your people and your purpose, you will use the platform of white people to serve your purpose and your people. You have shifted. And a change gone come. One of the most prominent songs of the civil rights movement. And we see who he dressed like, who he looked like. Malcolm affected him. Malcolm affected him. Let's see who else he affected. Now renamed Muhammad Ali. And Malcolm X is not there. Now, Cassius X originally planned to join Malcolm X in Malcolm's new movement. But as we see in the last stop, he actually joins Elijah Muhammad in the Nation of Islam, the place where Malcolm X was leaving. But Malcolm affected him. Look at him retaking the spot where Malcolm used to be, looking like him. I affected you because this is the man you need to be to serve our people. Why do we think this is? Audience, what happened with the switch? What do we think that was because of? Why do we think that happened? And this could be an actual historical answer or a hypothesis or a theory. What happened here? Callie said that empty chair for Malcolm. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Yes, Laundry J points out a very important point that says the Jackie Wilson scene sabotaging Sam Cooke was to portray that both Sam Cooke and Malcolm X were betrayed by their own people. Mara Cherie says the betrayal. Muhammad Ali looked back at that empty chair and my heart broke. So how did we come from Cassius X to Muhammad Ali? Lakeisha says Ali had a bigger platform. He replaced Malcolm. How was we feeling? Laundry Day says Malcolm's last will and testament was to prepare his brother's future. Sherry says, I don't know if everyone knows this, but Sam Cooke was one of the first entertainers to have an afro. That's fire. I like that. Mara says Malcolm's philosophy was changing and Elijah was a father figure to Ali. He took his name, Muhammad Ali, from Elijah Muhammad. And Sherry says Muhammad does betray Malcolm in real life. So I wasn't sure. I didn't have the answer, but I was like, is this because Malcolm X knows that his death is coming? So he's like, it's really no point in you following me and my organization when I don't even really know what this is. So I don't even know what to give you. I might not even be here. So go ahead and go with Elijah, who taught me everything I know. Like this was almost like a protection, even though this space is not safe. This space is not 100% right. But you're much better off going with them because I don't know what's going to happen to me. That's what I picked up from it, but I don't have the historical facts to really solidify that. But that's from the movie watching. I was like, is that why he made the switch? And here you can see, as we first met Malcolm X on this TV in this place, Muhammad Ali is the new person here, affected by Malcolm X. Slick and Slaylicious says this movie was filled with NIO moments. Khaled Savage says Muhammad didn't want to be another X. He didn't want to just be a part of a gang or cult. He wanted to be an individual in a new religion and community. And Sherry with more facts. Nation of Islam put a hit out on Malcolm X. Well, let's see it. The paranoia is confirmed. The paranoia is real. Death is looming in. Malcolm X is officially a target of white supremacy. But here's the thing, you can't change them all. You can't change them all, and that is some real stuff, okay? Jim Brown says, I'm putting the NFL down and I'm joining. It's going to be $37,000 checks round here, and I don't want to hear it. He went money green all the way. He went where? What? Where the money reside, where the money reside. And that's on what? Mary Had a Little Lamb. I'm not talking about all that stuff y'all talking about. Y'all go ahead and do that. They killing me for $37,000. And here is where I wanted to come back to. Jim Brown kept his cage. Y'all estimated his cage was his career. His cage was the NFL. His cage were these jobs and these gigs he were getting. He stayed locked in. And to be honest, the fight is so scary. I can't quite blame Black people for not wanting to play. I don't want to play. I want to be safe and have a good life. I don't want to do this with y'all. I don't care what's happening up there. I'm fine. It's fear. Okay? That is fear. But even though you can't save them all, you try. You try. And as Malcolm X leaves that love letter for his daughter, he leaves us his legacy as the love letter to us. You try. Use my life as an example to continue what I couldn't. Where do we see that? In our final shot. And I come back here to the question we posed earlier. If Sam is broke and Malcolm is dead, does that benefit Black people? Here's the thing. We can't answer that, right? But the moments they were here give us the hope to push forward and continue everything that they worked and existed for. It leaves legacy to be picked up and continue the work that our ancestors left behind. What they did give, how they did exist, was necessary to the whole thing. The way Malcolm X affected Muhammad Ali, the way Malcolm X affected Sam Cooke. It's about affecting the greatest good overall. Miss Regina King, I don't know what to tell you, ma'am. You're incredible. Kemp Powers, you did what had to be done. To our ancestors, to the Black people who lived before us, to those who worked and to those who didn't. Because I understand, I get it. This road isn't easy. This Black skin We paid prices for it over and over and over. Our skin is paid for. This is why the Kardashians can't pick it up when they feel like. This is why the James Brown and the Bretts can't pick it up when they feel like. It's ours. You ain't put in the work to do what we do. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Especially when you ain't sharing the recipe to that pie. I am JustLatasha, and this was another live dissection one night in Miami. I am here every Monday evening dissecting a TV show or a feature film, 6 p.m. EST. Make sure you subscribe. How you gonna know when I make new content if you ain't here on part of the family? Is the math mathing? Is it? Get the thumbs up button going. Hit the like button. Let YouTube know you love what you saw tonight. Get them comments going. Go, 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 go. Give YouTube that we approve of this channel confirmation. All right. I will also be back every Thursday for a piece of script. Is a dissection, but like bite size, like 5-6 minutes. Really fired. Shout out to all my patrons in the room: LB, CJ, A. Barty, Khaled Savage, Mara Cherise. Yo, my people hold me down. If you're not a patron, you're going to be missing exclusive live shows. My next live show is Malcolm and Marie, only on Patreon. The movie comes out February 5th. You guys are getting a live exclusive dissection on Malcolm and Marie, Zendaya and John Washington, only on Patreon. You do not want to miss it. You do not want to miss it. You do not want to miss it. Become a patron tonight. Patreon.com/JustLatasha. I am on Instagram at JustLatasha. I am on Twitter at JustLatasha404. I love y'all for being here. Each and every Monday we do it. We do it way big. We do it. Shout out to little Kemp. I don't even know that. Y'all don't even know that track. Doing it way big. Talk to me on the internet. I talk back. And until next time, I will see you on Thursday. Patrons, y'all got something good coming, good content coming. All right. I'll see y'all later. Hearts up in the chat. Hearts up in the chat. Hearts up in the chat. I see y'all. Thank you so much for being here. Good night.